sit here and I start interviewing myself, and Dad's like, "Hey bro, I need your help, dude." Good morning from Terry Haddock Racing. Today we have a lot going on, kind of. We are going through and cleaning up the old trailer that we raced out of before the current trailer, because we are working on selling it, and so we just got to get it all cleaned up and ready to go. And while we're working today, I have a list of a bunch of questions from Twitter, from Instagram, from YouTube that I'm all going to answer today. Kind of a Nitro funny car mechanic Q&A video. What you think of that, Mr. Terry?
I'm not sure, and that's higher than my pay grade.
At this point, we have gotten the trailer pretty shined up. This is a really, really nice trailer. We just, and I'm dropping my camera. I'm a professional. But, nice trailer. We're gonna call the guy who's looking at the trailer and give him a little walkthrough. While Dad is giving a virtual FaceTime tour of the trailer, I'm going to answer the first question on the Q&A list. Now, the first question is, what do you feel was your best race that was Gainesville when we won first round against Alexis DeJoria? But my favorite race was Reading, because we had Austin there, we had Tyler there, we had all the guys, all my people, everyone was there. And I know it's weird that I don't say Vegas, because I got to drive the funny car that weekend, but it was really disheartening when we got disqualified by NHRA after that last run, which sucked, so that kind of killed the mood of the weekend. It was so awesome getting to drive, but I think Reading was still my favorite race. If not Reading, then it would be Epping, New Hampshire. All the East Coast races are just better. I love the East Coast. While we're in here in the race car shop, this car is going to be leaving in a few weeks because we got it sold. Sorry, Mr. Cameron, you no longer have a hoopty. But at some point this week, we're probably going to take this motor apart and take it out because Dad wants to go through it before it goes off to the new owners. That car we aren't going to really do much with this trip, but this weekend, this Sunday, so the video will come out Monday, we are going to drive that car. I'm going to get to make a few more hits driving that, and we might be running Mr. Boston's little Fiat Topolino altered, make a couple of hits with it. But I'm super excited to get to drive this again. And while I'm on the subject, let me show you the super, super, super cool Christmas gift Dad got me. I had to run upstairs and grab this because I haven't even brought it down into the shop yet. But Cameron has been letting me use all of his driving gear to start out driving, and then I got a bunch of driving gear for my birthday. And the last thing that I needed is shoes, which I still have to get, and a helmet. Well, Dad got me this really, really awesome carbon fiber, super, super, super nice helmet. It's got all the things, connections for the Hans, which I got a Hans from Cameron. We worked out a deal for it. And this thing is so cool. I can't wait to use it. It's incredible. Like, you take Cameron's helmet and how heavy that is compared to this one, because I'm pretty sure Cameron's isn't carbon fiber. But eventually, I'm going to take Cameron's helmet back to Southern California for him so that he has it if he needs it. But eventually, Cameron is going to paint this, leave some of the carbon exposed because it's super cool. But he's going to paint it and put my logo on it and probably never give up and my number or whatever. But this thing is super cool. I can't wait to use this on Sunday. And it works. In case you didn't know, this is now an ASMR channel. ASMR. Now, we'll go over here and find my bag. Alright, well, my camera shut off in the middle of me talking there, but Tim and Pat are the guys with T&D Express and Priority Systems, and those are our two major sponsors who help Dad out a lot. And then all of Dad's friends chip in and help everywhere we can. Big teams help us with parts and all kinds of little stuff, and we just kind of make it work. We run off of the qualifying checks, and we do amazingly well for the money we have. And this coming year, we're trying to step up the program to another level from where we're at, and hopefully that does bring the new title sponsor or what we need. My goal is to make it so that Dad can do it right someday, and hopefully I get to race alongside of him, and we get to go have a lot of fun and win some races and maybe get him another championship. All right, question number 3 and 4 on our Q&A today. Number 3 is, what is your favorite car? Now, they didn't specify whether it was like drag car or street car, so I'm just gonna do both. My favorite drag car, other than our two cars, is Justin Ashley's Dragster. Justin Ashley is one of my favorite... Lucy, why are you drinking out of the cat's water bowl? Sorry. Justin Ashley is one of my favorite drivers other than Dad, and so his car is awesome. And then a 1968 Camaro and an Audi R8. Those are my two favorite street cars. And then number 4 is, what is your favorite track? That one is really easy to answer. My favorite track is Vandermeer Speedway in Denver, Colorado. That track is one of the nicest in the country. Along with that, Texas Motorplex, those are two of the nicest facilities in the country, and I just love Denver. We always seem to do good there, and it's just an awesome track. This is me coming up with creative locations to film this video. Ugh. Okay, question number 5 is, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years, and what are your goals? Now, I have a mile-long list of goals, from 1-year goals to 5-year goals to 10-year goals to even 20-year goals. And soon I'm going to be filming a video on goals that'll be coming out in a week or two at the end of the year. But in 5 years, I see myself, I want to step up as much as I can and help run Terry Haddock Racing and get it to the point where it's funded with 2 or 3 cars. Maybe me, Dad, and Tyler can all race. And it's funded with 3 cars. We're out winning races and being competitive. Have the title sponsor, have some of those big, we want to be able to do this right. I want to be able to race alongside Dad and Tyler and my family and be able to do this right. Starting out in this car, in the little car, is an amazing start, and I can't wait to see where it leads, and hopefully in 5 years we can have a big sponsor and start winning races and doing all that stuff. And some overall goals, in 15 years, I've made it a goal of mine to upgrade the Terry Haddock Racing shop and have 5-6 car team maybe, and have a big piece of property that has a drag strip on it that we can run national events at. The Koretsky family owns Maple Grove Raceway up in Reading, and I thought that'd be a really cool idea. Make another amazing facility like Texas Motorplex, like Vandermeer Speedway down in New Braunfels in the San Antonio, Austin area of Texas, Central Texas. Bring racing back to Central Texas, because there's not a lot going on there. So that's a goal that I've been thinking about and planning about over the past few weeks and kind of thinking through. So next on today's list is getting Miss Heather's car started, because Haley needs to drive it for a few months soon. And I opened the hood. What exactly is the point of the hood on this thing if you're gonna have so much plastic? This is stupid. And the hood doesn't want to stay up. That's nice. Let's see if my truck will start, because we might have to jump this first to get Miss Heather's truck to be jumped. Hey, good job, truck. Ugh, I like this truck. Okay, we're pulling my truck over to a different spot because the jumper cables we have we're not long enough to reach the battery in Heather's truck. So I feel like it's a good time for question number 6. And question number 6 is your craziest travel story. And now, a week ago, I would have said something different, so I'm going to tell both of my crazy travel stories. The first crazy travel story is one time when I was heading home from Texas. I went through DFW Airport, and I was just walking along. I had one of those nice hard-shell suitcases at the time, and all of a sudden, I looked down, and my suitcase had kind of snapped in half. Like, at the zippers where it came apart, it just, like, was gone. Like, peace out, I'm done, screw this, I'm out. So, I kind of wander around, and I'm wondering what am I supposed to do in this situation. So I end up figuring, okay, I can wrap my belt around this. And so all of a sudden, I'm walking around like, hey, does anybody have a spare belt that I could borrow to fix my suitcase? And some guy actually gave me his belt, so shout out to that guy who actually really helped me. And so I kind of limped that suitcase home, and we got rid of that suitcase because it was junk. The second craziest travel story, actually, no, that was the second craziest. I flew into Texas for Christmas on Christmas Eve, and I was supposed to land in San Antonio at 7:30, I think. So I get on my flight in Ontario, and I get on the airplane, and I fly into DFW, because that's where my connection flight is. And so all of a sudden, we've been circling the airport for 30 minutes because one of the slats part, I guess, is required for the landing of the plane is broken. So finally, after 30 minutes of circling, we get off we land, and all of a sudden there's like 30 flashing lights behind us. And so they checked out the plane. I guess everything was fine. And the plane had to go into service or whatever. And so at this point, by the time I got off my plane, I had like -5 minutes to get to my next gate. So I'm booking it through the airport, Home Alone style, where they're all running. And I get there, and they delayed my flight like 30 minutes. So I was like, oh, fantastic. I've got time to grab something from the 7-Eleven and get on my plane. I'm not going to miss it. We're good to go. All of a sudden, it gets delayed to 7:30, then 8:30, then 10:30, then 2 in the morning, then 7 in the morning. So at this point, I went to the counter and was like, hey, I'm 16, I'm a minor, I can't be stranded in the airport overnight. And they're like, hey, sorry, there's really nothing we can do to help you. All the flights have already gone from San Antonio, or gone to San Antonio or Austin. So I was kind of screwed. So at that moment, Dad and Heather were 5 hours away in San Antonio, down there ready to pick me up. So they got to drive all the way up to Dallas and pick me up, drive the 4 hours back to New Braunfels where we were for the holidays, and we ended up getting back at like 5 in the morning. But the cherry on top is the next day we had to drive to the San Antonio airport anyways, because they were unable to give me my bag at the Dallas airport when I got stranded there. So yeah, that's my new craziest travel story. Another fun tidbit of information, the emergency parking brake on my truck is kind of broken, so when it's running, I have no brake, so it's kind of just sitting here in neutral, and I could roll it around if I wanted to. I really like my truck. Alright, let's see. Should we get to question 942 of today's Q&A session? Let's see. What hotels do the team stay at? Do they have to show up at a certain time together? And are you on your own for night food? So the hotel thing is, we usually, Heather does the hotels, and she usually just finds whatever hotels are cheapest. So we usually stay at like Motel 6 or whatever, and there are times where like in Vegas you can get deals on like the bougie resort hotels. Like we got to stay in Trump Tower in April when we were there, and then when we were there for the October race, some of the guys got to stay at another one of the hotels on the strip. I don't even remember what it was called. The second question, do they have to show up at a certain time together? Yes, of sorts. Dad has, like, each night, Dad will decide when he wants the guys to show up. So sometimes it's 7 a.m., sometimes it's 9. It kind of just depends. Dad usually decides that. And are you on your own for night food? So we usually have dinner at the track, but yes, we are on our own for food if we want to go get something. Like, one night after Pomona, Marbles and Tyler and I went and got dinner, and like just stopped really quick to get dinner because we were hungry still. So yes, you are on your own, but we usually have dinner at the track, so it's usually just if you want to get something extra that you're on your own. Creative Q&A spot number 3472. Our next question is, have I ever raced at Mocan Dragway? Will you ever race at the Funny Car Chaos events there with the Fool's Errand? And no, I have never been to Mocan Dragway. It is on the bucket list, and I'm not sure if we'll ever race the Fool's Errand there. It would be cool. I'm not sure. I know this year we probably won't be running any Fool's Errand Funny Car Chaos races. Dad isn't ready for me to run Funny Car Chaos yet. Maybe he'll run a few races, but I'd definitely be down to drive there in the future if the opportunity presented itself. Also, I'm kind of sad this dragster's going because it's really cool, but I'm also kind of glad because now our focus won't be split between two cars. But this thing is nice. Rides like a Cadillac. Alright, second to last question in another creative spot. Ooh, this thing's like really like you're sitting on the floor. Wow. Second to last question is, do you ever want to win a Wally? Yes, of course I want to win a Wally. But first, I'd like to win a Wally with Dad. That's actually on my vision board. A couple months ago, I made a vision board of what I want my future to look like. I'll see if I have a picture somewhere and throw it up on the screen. But a Wally is on there. Personally, I'd like to win a Wally, but I'd also like to win a Wally with Dad someday. And hopefully that's this coming year. I mean, yeah, let's go out and win a Wally this year, why don't we? Okay, so I am just about to join the a live stream with one of my other YouTuber friends, Mighty Mac on YouTube. There's a link in the description, but I am joining the end of year live stream that he has with a bunch of other content creators. So I'm gonna do that real quick. I'm in here with the Fool's Errand, and after I do this, we'll get back to the Q&A session. I decided to film the last question over here in front of my nice little race car. I really love this car. But the last question is, what cameras / video equipment do you use to film your videos? Now, I have a multitude of cameras. I film all the vlog stuff, most of everything on a GoPro Hero 10 with the GoPro Media mod. And then my in-car camera switches between a GoPro Max and a GoPro Hero 9. And then for all my cinematic stuff, I have a Canon 80D with a 50mm 1.8 lens that I do all my cinematic stuff. That all this stuff just works the best. I also have a drone. I have the DJI Mavic Air. It's a couple years old at this point, but it works perfectly for what I do. And that's all the camera equipment. All the supporting equipment, like batteries and all that stuff, is kind of a given with these cameras. Like, I've got about 1,000 GoPro batteries, but that's all the camera equipment that I have. And that was the last question for today's Q&A video. I'm going to go work on a few miscellaneous things around the shop, and I'm sure I will see you guys in a couple days. We've got a bunch of big things coming up, mostly going out and running this car this weekend, so there'll be a video coming out of getting everything ready, just making sure it's good to go, and whatever other stuff we're doing here in the shop over the next few weeks. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all those YouTube-y things, and never give up.